Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to teach you 5 top tips about how to make your footage more cinematic. So let's jump into it. The first tip I have is shoot with a low f-stop. So that's ramping your aperture down to its lowest stop possible. So like an f1.8 or 1.2 or 2 or whatever, just having the lowest f-stop possible. This will create a nice blurry bokeh background, and increase, your depth of field, and it'll have a really nice cinematic feel to it. So yeah, that's my first tip, shoot with a really low f-stop. My next point sort of ties into the first point, but by shooting with a low f-stop, that will create a better depth of field. So by depth of field, I mean is like having your subject in the middle or on the side, or just having it in focus, then creating a really blurry background or depth to the image so it looks three-dimensional. We don't want to have anything looking flat at all. So the best way to achieve this is by either shooting into the light or having a light on the side. You don't want a light directly on in the same angle as the camera. You want to have it on the side, in the back. This creates depth of field. That point that ties into the next point nicely as well, and it is lighting and how to shape light. Now, like I said before, you want to have your light either to the side, you don't want it directly front on, this will create a flat looking image. So you want to have light and be able to shape light in a cinematic way. Now the best way to do that, is shoot into the light, or have it on the side, or have it in the background. You want to add elements of light into it. There's a great Martin Scorsese quote, and he said light is the start of everything, not just cinema, but life itself, and you need light, and learn how to shape light to be able to create cinematic looking videos. My next point is shooting in the right frame rate. Now, I'm from the United Kingdom, so we use PAL, and what that means is it's just the system I shoot on. But if you're from America, you'd shoot NTSC. But these things doesn't matter anyway, just that in the UK we shoot 25 frames per second, and then if we want to slow it down, we shoot at 50 frames per second. In America, if you're American, you'd shoot at 24 frames per second, and it'd be 60 frames per second to make it slower. I don't know why, that's just how it is, how the cookie crumbles. But this is to make your footage slow motion, this is what you want. You want it to, look nice and smooth and slow. So I'd recommend shooting slow motion to make it more cinematic for your B-roll. However, a talking head piece like this, or if you have characters, shoot 25 frames per second. This is the most natural one. It'll create motion blur and you'll get used to it. It comes back to when cinema first started and they shot at 24 frames per second. It's the most your eye can pick up as a human being. Anyway, it's what your eyes work at. So this is the most natural. So shoot at that and make sure your timeline is that. You can shoot at 60, just play it back at 24 or 25. But just make sure you have the right frame rate. Just basically don't shoot 30 frames per second, because that's for TV and other boring stuff. Shoot 24 or slow it down. Now, moving on into the post-production. So once you've filmed your footage, you're gonna wanna color grade it. Now you're gonna wanna use color grading software like DaVinci Resolve to bring out the best colors and make and style a look you want for your film. So this is how you create, cinematic looking stuff, is by color grading it and grading it in the way you want it. I cheat a little bit. I use a thing called Cinema Grade, which is a plugin for Premiere Pro, Final Cut, all your editing software, and basically it just allows you to apply different LUTs and edit more like Lightroom than like traditional color correcting and color grading software. So that's why I like it, because I like editing photos. So it's just sort of like editing photos, just videos. So yeah, you can find other ways. There's other plugins out there, but this is what I use to create cinematic looking video. My final point is that don't underestimate music and sound effects. Now, I recently made a video on why you should use music stems, which ties into this point nicely. So if you want to go check that out, I'll leave the link up there. And yeah, go check it out. I'm sure you will enjoy it. And you know, this is the reason why, is because you need to create, you need to create an atmosphere. You know, film and video is 50% sound. So you need to create a soundscape and a sound palette, within your environment to make it believable. You need to use sound effects, Atmos, the music you choose, everything all ties into this point. So don't underestimate sound effects and music into your videos. And if you want to see a video about how I sound design my videos on Instagram or my actual client projects, just let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to know your opinion on that. So let me know if you want to see that video. These are just my opinions on how I would create more cinematic points. But if you have any tips for me, let me know in the comments below about how I can make my stuff more cinematic. I would love to hear from you. Hit that thumbs up button if you found this information useful, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. But until the next one, I'll catch you later.